Welcome to the PreVeil training course. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this course. Some of the things that we're going to cover in this course, before I even get into the actual class, I just want you to know that we're thankful that you're here. I give interactive classes. So if you have questions or you have case studies or you have something that you want to bring up, bring it up. I'm telling you, I won't be intimidated. If I don't know the answer to it, I will get it for you. And I just happen to have access to Jamie. So I'm sure, since he works for PreVeil, that he'll probably have the answer, the case study, and how they, conquered it. So feel free to ask any questions. We don't look them as gotchas, but we want everybody to learn. And I believe in an adult learning model where everyone is getting the most out of it. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen so that we can begin. But before we begin, I noticed that Darish is in the actual class. I know he has something special going on today, so I'm going to give him an opportunity to speak real quick if he wants it. All right. So let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see the screen. Should be able to see it. All right. So, hey, this is week 1 training on the PreVeil core. Like I said, this is the agenda. This is what we'll do and what we'll talk about today. So we'll do an introduction. So for this course, we're going to have multiple PreVeil advisors. And if they're all here, I can't see because it's a large amount of people, so I don't have all of them on my screen, but I'll give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves from advisors. If you're here, I'll start with myself. All right, Michael Council. What I did here, I actually shared all of our LinkedIn profiles. Pardon the typo, that drives me crazy. I didn't put parentheses around mine. But that's just to give you guys access to at least myself, and I'm sure the other advisors will accept you as well. That way we can have continuous communications going up and down throughout the duration of this course. Michael Council, I've been doing this, and when I say this, auditing, cybersecurity, information technology assurance of some sorts since like the 2010s. It's all evolved. I started off in the military. I was a warrant officer at it's an enclave of systems that I need to secure. So they made me the information assurance officer. Started off on my CISSP journey soon thereafter. Got out, did some things with other nations, but always kept my foot in the actual, DICAP, RMF world. In my military career, I did a lot of assessing. It just kind of naturally, was a evolution for me to do gap assessments, and I kept my eye on CMMC since I started talking about it. So this is how I ended up in the CMMC ecosystem. I love this ecosystem. I'm always looking to learn. So I thought it was pretty exciting when Derek released this CPN, because I'm PreVeil user, but I can also get other things like Google and also Salesforce. So I tell you that, I say that to tell you this: get the most you can out of all of this. And also these are unique networking experiences. So that's me. And also, if David is here, David, you can go ahead and go next. If not, we'll go to Edgar.
All right. I don't think David's here right now, so I'll just jump right on in. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. My name is Edgar Vanterpool. I started off as an automotive engineer, and I just fell in love with the path of problem solving. So like over the last 15 so years, it just evolved into cybersecurity. I started off doing patching for the automotive industry. The cars you drive these days, they all have software, they all have CPUs, the whole GPUs, everything, PCMs. So it just evolved into the industry of production. And I fell in love with the process of sequence of getting stuff done correctly the first time. And it evolved into me learning about information system security, becoming an information system security manager for aerospace and defense. And that's where I came into contact with CMMC just under a decade ago. And I'd like to thank Derek and CPN for the opportunity to be an actual advisor to PreVeil and contribute to the community.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for all you do. Right now, David isn't here, but I will tell you, when you see him next week, you'll be excited to meet David. We'll go ahead and give him the opportunity to introduce himself. I'm sure with some of the banter going back and forth after we do this, you'll probably meet him before next week anyway. But David, He just retired. He's a police officer. So, I mean, he has experience in forensics, right? So that's something that's very important. He's going to help us out with that portion of the implementation process. So we'd like to say thank you to David once he hears this. And then finally, we have James Stevens, right? James Stevens, tech leader. He also just joined recently as an advisor. There was an opening. James, so he stepped up and he took the actual, as they say, proverbial bull by the horns, and he decided to become one of your advisors. So we'll meet those two next week.
I'm actually here, Michael. This is James. I'm actually here. I know probably, yeah, you probably can't see me. That's okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks all for joining. James Stevens. I started off going in the way back time machine, psychology major in school, entered the Air Force. I was an aviator. Then halfway through that, became involved in cyber and RMF and just that whole intersection of cybersecurity and information management, information security as it relates to some of our mission platforms. And from there, I retired almost 4 years ago, then landed a role at Microsoft where I really got even more steeped into compliance, FedRAMP, all those other fun things. And that was my first introduction to CMMC as well. And so once I saw that, again, just having a natural curiosity and desire to protect and make sure that information was secure, that was something I was just genuinely interested in, just naturally gravitated towards it. And so here we are. So yeah, first opportunity to really learn. I appreciate this advisory role. So there's some CP community. Thank you for this opportunity to do that. Thank you guys in advance for your trust and for just patience as well, and allow me to have the platform and opportunity to not only learn, but then try to help others expand and grow as well. So really appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can see or hear just from this virtual introduction that we have kind of like a lot of different ways that we came into cybersecurity, and a lot of different things, from, English majors and also doing other things going into cybersecurity, being in the Air Force or doing something in the Army. So I'm sure there's a lot of interesting stories out there. We're going to take the opportunity. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I just want everybody to do a quick introduction. Tell me who you are and give me 1 to 2 sentences about why you're here and what you want to get out of this class. And I'll start with Aneta.
Hey everyone, my name is Aneta Klepacka and I am currently cybersecurity manager at Community Bank. I'm currently studying for CISSP and CMMC at the same time.
Awesome. And next I have David Pearson.
Hey, good evening. I'm actually just auditing this class. I'm trying to see what the dual track would take since I just came out of the global workspace one. So here to just listen and learn. I'm currently working as a cybersecurity architect for federal government. And so just here to listen and learn on what PreVeil looks like versus global workspace.
Okay, that's awesome. All right. Keith Paquette. Okay, Keith might have stepped away. How about? Oh, I can hear you now. Yes.
My name is Keith. I've been in the CMMC world for a little over 2 years, background in technology or a couple decades, and security in latter 10. But really enjoying the CMMC ecosystem. Can do to make a difference.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks a lot. All right, next we have Kim.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Fanto. My background is primarily the corporate IT fintech world. So delivering technology solutions, compliance, security audits to banks for the solutions we provided them. And I recently went on my own this year and looking to transfer that experience and skill set over to CMMC. So I am signed up for the CCP training in July, but of course saw this amazing program and I'm just sort of taking advantage of all that it has to offer and just trying to learn everything I can.
Awesome. And next we have Rashida Carr.
Hello, I'm Rashida. I currently teach cybersecurity courses for the CISA branch of DHS, and I am fairly new to the CMMC space and just looking to see what PreVeil has to offer.
Oh, that's good. Maybe it's a cheaper solution than some other things out there, but not endorsing any products. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. We just had somebody come on, Armel, I couldn't find you initially. So quick introduction, Armel, and we'll get started.
Yeah, hi, how are you? Do I need to be on video?
Oh, no.
No. All right, so my name is Armel, and I guess what am I supposed to say?
Oh,
This is the
sorry.
first time. Well, this is my first time actually joining. I signed up for CPM, find out about CPM through a resource, and I'm just getting acclimated to all the information that is available here. So I'm not sure what to expect, but this is my first time getting it, and I'm looking forward to learning and hopefully contribute to the team.
Okay, no problem. You already answered the second part, but we just want to know a little bit about yourself, your cybersecurity experience, and what you expected to get out of this course.
Yeah. So as far as cybersecurity experience, I'm currently consulting for one of the big healthcare I guess vendor, and we do use a lot of NIST assessment. We do a lot of NIST assessment, and I'm also work as part of the general team. IT side. So again, CMMC is new to me, and just trying to see how I can, see how things are set up and things on nature. Because I have used 871, but not on the defense side. Just the wording, right? Because what I usually do is like I use the framework, but I change the wording and I apply it to my environment. So I use that. Use 53 as well. But again, now I'm just trying to see how this fits into CMMC.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Hey, everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you for the introduction. It's going to be captured forever, and we can go back and see who our counterparts is, our colleagues. And also, if you're willing to share your information as far as your LinkedIn, let me know. I will be going back after the completion of this class today. Everyone that's in the class, you will receive an invite from me on the PreVeil platform. Also, during the class and after class, you will see and receive some YouTube videos on how to actually, process that invite and turn it into a PreVeil platform, either Express or the desktop application version, whatever your preferences or whatever you can do on the resources that you have. I will give you kind of expectation management right now. You guys are the inaugural class for this. And so we're building this plane as we fly, as they would say. But I will tell you, there's a lot of good information that is being shared, that has been shared with us from the PreVeil and case studies. So we will get that to you, but also we will be working with the PreVeil team to make sure that our curriculum is the best curriculum to get you where you want to get you for the capstone. Everyone know and understand that the capstone for this actual 90-day session will be a mock assessment. Is everyone aware of that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, what is the best thing about a mock assessment? I heard that there's a lot of assessors on here, and there's a lot of people that may go into consultant, and that's an easy way to help out organizations seeking certification. Make sure they're getting ready. Everybody says gap assessments, but there are I've been privy to a few conversations where a lot of the OSCs are looking at getting mock assessments, so building up teams, being able to do a mock assessment, understanding CMMC, if you're going for your CCP and your CCA, using this information for that to get ready. So I just want to let you know at the end, we will be doing a mock assessment. So you guys will be forming up a OSC, and you'll have your different functional areas, and you'll collect your evidence, and you'll configure your systems, in accordance with the 17 practices for FCI level 1, and we'll go from there. But with that being said, just a brief overview. I'm not going to cover CMMC 2.0, definitely not 1.0, but we're just going to go over just some high crest areas, right? Because if you want to see in-depth class and the FAQ on CMMC, and you're a member of professional or founding member of CPN, there's actually a recording of that. So in the interest of time, we don't want to go over stuff that we went over already. If you have issues getting to recording, let us know. We'll go ahead and share that with you. You can get the in-depth CMMC 101 briefing that was covered, I think, a couple months ago. But just some basic things. Hey, the program, it's going to be required for all these solicitations. They're going through. They already did the rulemaking for CMMC. Now they're doing rulemaking to make sure that they can put the actual CMMC requirements in the contract clauses of the FAR. So that's going to be the trigger, right? Because that's the legal language for all the solicitations. In CMMC, what we're going to concentrate on would be federal contract information and not controlled unclassified information. And the reason why this first 90 days is mock assessment will be CMMC level 1. So as you look at the 3 levels in front of you, CMMC level 1 will be for federal contract information that's not for public release, contract information, pricing information, things that you want to keep from the public that is put out as a part of the actual contract and the contract language. And then and that will be tracked on, your supplier performance risk management system, or SIPRs. And level 1, that's a self-assessment, right? But it's going to be either met or not met. You're not going to have any score. So when you do your level 1, that will be a self-assessment. You can get some outside help for that. If they don't understand, I'd recommend, putting your service that you help, either by doing gap assessments or assisting with, mock assessments and helping them get that stuff together, their documentation together for their level 1. The level 2 is going to be for controlled and classified information. That's going to be an assessment. And you see the score in -203 to 110 points, got to get 88% or 88 points, and they're valued by 1, 3, or 5. So that's when you're going to put your score inside of the supplier performance risk system at that point. And for higher level or advanced CMMC contracts, which will be a small portion of contracts, they'll be an outside assessment. There'll be an additional 24 actual practices that they'll look at, and that will also be inside of the SIPRs, but it requires a prerequisite score on your level 2 of 110. So you got to be ready. And then we already talked about where that'll all be stored at. And here on the right, you have a graphical representation of just kind of what we went over. So do anybody have any questions on this slide? All right. Okay. So we talked about FCI versus CUI, right? So FCI, main thing is it's not marked as public. It's not for public, right? It's not, your website information. It's not the public solicitation or anything like that. But some of those documents and resources that you're going to generate as part of the assessment process and some of the contract information, some of the your payment information, those are going to be some of the things, that are going to be FCI or federal contract information. All right. And it's definitely not going to be designated CUI. You see CUI on the top, that's it's outside of scope for, level 1. And if you see CUI on top, you're not supposed to get it, or you should be level 2 certified or on a system that can handle level 2 information. So controlled and classified information. Oh, excuse me. And this is defined in, hold on a second. Someone just joined. Okay. And this is defined in Federal Acquisition Regulation 52204-21, right? It's going to have, and you'll see this as we go through this course, we'll use that FAR a lot. It will have the minimum safeguarding requirements, and we'll go ahead and do the mapping over to what controls it maps to from NIST SP 800-171 version 2. Very important that we're using version 2. And then the next thing we'll talk about on the slide would be NARA. Golly, so it's National Archives Records, and I can't remember what the A stands for. Sorry, I didn't write that one down, but I can actually give you the hyperlink so you can go there. But the CUI, it's going to be broken down and separated into different types of CUI based on the programs. So that's, defined in 32 CFR Part 2002. And NARA's in charge of that. And they have it all broken down. But the main thing you want to understand and realize that all CUIs should be marked as such, so the owner should be marking CUI with CUI on top. There's actually a good class that everyone should take on CUI markings. I think that it is a part of the CCP curriculum, or something you have to do after. So, and as we all know, we talked about the NIST special publications. We're going to use NIST special publication 800-171. As you can see, it doesn't have revision 2 or revision 3 currently. out in the revision 3 is out in the wild, but there is a memorandum for record that's been published by the DoD CIO, and it's contained in archives on the Cyber AD site that we are using the version 2. If you want access to that or you have any questions, just let us know. We'll give you that information. So, quick question. I don't want to talk all the time. So if I was doing a level 1 certification, is that a self-assessment or is that an assessment from a C3PAO or a certified third-party organization? Could everybody put your answer inside of the actual the chat? Let's get this chat hot. Self-assessment. Okay, self. All right. Okay, does anybody think that it's not a self-assessment? Does anybody disagree with that? All right, everybody thinks self-assessment. So if I have CUI and I'm doing a level 2 or level 3 assessment, is that a self-assessment or is that going to be a third-party assessment? All right, now one last question. This is a bonus question. What revision of NIST SP 800-171 are we using for the CMMC program? All right, I see somebody put 171 alpha. Okay, they digging deep. Okay, all right. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything you bring up, any case studies that you want to share? All right, nothing at this time. All right. So this is the reason that we are all here. PreVeil. What is PreVeil? What is the PreVeil platform? So, hey, here are just some key features of PreVeil, right? There's 2 versions. So when I send you out the invite, I told you earlier that you'll have the opportunity to either use PreVeil Express or the PreVeil desktop application. Well, you'll see from some of the videos I'll play later on, and I'll share with you that the PreVeil Express is going to give you the opportunity to, make a actual account in PreVeil without downloading, that application on your actual system that you're using, and you'll be able to use like the PreVeil web app to access email and things like that. And with the desktop application, you'll download the actual PreVeil solution, and also it'll give you the opportunity. You can't see it, but on top of my taskbar on top, it has an actual key, and I'm able to hit that key and go directly into the PreVeil application. So it makes it easier for me to hop to the email application and do normal interaction with PreVeil between email and receiving and copying files inside the drives, creating drives, things like of that. And so I just think it's easier if you have opportunity. I would recommend the desktop application, but it's up to you once you get the invite from me after this class. One big thing about PreVeil that's different than other applications, cloud applications, it's end-to-end encrypted for the email and drive. What does that mean? Why is that important? Well, your data, your information that's going to be in your tenant or your little enclave is encrypted. PreVeil can't get to your information. Only you can get to your information. Your keys are going to be stored. It's not a password. Your encryption keys to decrypt that information to be able to access that actual drive or be able to read those emails will be contained on your device. So when you go into PreVeil, you'll notice that it says what devices you're using. You can control and manage your devices in the actual settings. So it's real important once you set up your PreVeil that you set up a recovery, because once again, PreVeil doesn't have access to your information. So if you don't set up your recovery, it's like using the old iCloud, right? You can lose everything. You won't have access to those assets. All right. So another good thing, like we said, there's no passwords. It actually uses encryption keys to make sure that there's end-to-end encryption on the actual CUI as a stored, transmitted, and process, which is really important. What it does, it works with existing platforms. So how important to you as a user or as an administrator for you or people in your organization to be able to use existing applications? Do you think that's important? Yes or no? Go ahead and put that in the chat for me, please. So no one thinks it's important? Yeah, it can stop production, right? Because not only that, right, one of the main things that's going to happen, and what you're doing in production, you got to have systems in place. CMMC it's not just something you do one time and it's over, right? You got to have systems and processes in place that are going to support, utilizing these applications and ensuring that the applications are utilized correctly and you're in compliance. So this is a process, and it's very important. So I'm gonna pick on somebody, and I just want to ask, like, in not in your organization you're in right now, or something you can't share, but just talk to me about, how you use an application and how it's done it, not the growth, but the production and the operations of the actual organization that you're in and you've been in the past. So I give everybody a chance to raise their hand first before I pick somebody. Anybody want to volunteer and talk about that real quick? All right, go ahead, Edgar.
All right. When it comes to applications, it really depends on the business need. You should always tailor it to what the business is actually requiring. For instance, I've run into situations where we had to run outdated versions, but then secure it on updated, secure on virtual LAN networks and to actually meet requirement, because the newer version of the production environment or production application didn't meet the needs of what the business was actually trying to achieve. It didn't do a particular function. So they had to stay with an outdated version of it, but then get a memorandum from the actual third-party vendor stating this is why we did this and these are what we're doing to secure the environment.
Great example. And just to, kind of add on to that, you got to think we're dealing with the defense industrial base. We're dealing with people that support the federal government. So you will have, anybody heard of like sole source contracts where it's only one vendor that makes that particular software or application that supports? Has anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, things like that. So when they put these things together, sometimes they don't update them, regularly. So sometimes, they may not be able to use Windows 11. They're using an older version of Windows. So all these things, and a key example, FAA, right? We're talking about the FAA right now, where we're talking about the systems and applications they're using to secure us while we're, flying. So that's a key example. So when you're approaching this, don't just approach it just from an assessment perspective, right? It's a business use perspective. You should be looking at it from how important it is to business, almost from a vSysL aspect, right? Because you don't want to just put it in there just to get them there across the line. We want something that's a long-term solution that we can build on strategically. Edgar, did you have something you wanted to talk about as well?
I was going to say the patch cycle that's required inside of this environment also. And going back to those standalone environments where they're never going to patch it, or it was created with this one-time non-routable connection. You have to do the best things that you can do to protect that environment. Have, how can I say it? Have a repudiation plan in place,
yes,
and keep protecting yourself, keep evolving, keep monitoring, keep your hands on it.
Okay. And also this thing, it has a console. We'll look at that a little bit later, but it's made to emphasize compliance, and it also supports ITAR and DFAR 712. So ITAR is going to be, information, international trafficking. I don't know why I write these down. I usually do. I'm a little off today. Well, excuse me. But it's for information you can share with some of our foreign partners. Make sure that you're not sharing something that you're not supposed to. Securing that information, passing that information to some of your personnel that may be overseas or working with international partners, or making sure that only Americans or only people with a need to know and the ability to know in accordance with the regulations and the memorandums of agreement with those foreign nations. Okay. All right. So we're going to go into a quick workshop. And in this workshop, I'm just going to kind of take you through and walk you through how the PreVeil system looks. Like I said, I didn't have everyone that was going to come, so I will send out the actual PreVeil invitation, so you can decide whether you're gonna, you can make your account and you can decide whether you're going to utilize the Express or you're going to utilize the actual application and download it. So here it is. All right, PreVeil. All right, which one is this? I don't know which one this is, but I'm just going to walk around through this real quick. Right? Can everyone see my screen? Yes. All right. So basically, when you go into PreVeil, you open it up. If you look on the top, right, I have the desktop application. So we have this little key here. On this key, I have the option to go in, hit this key, and I can go into my PreVeil account. If you have multiple accounts, like I said, I'm a PreVeil user, but I also have a PreVeil account for the CMMC Pathways program. So if I hit that, my other account will come up. But this right here is my account that's we're utilizing for this course and that I'm an admin on. So if you look at this really quick, and you'll see it shows you activities that you've done, right? So, and it also gives you alerts. You can toggle that on and off. So if you have a problem or there's something in your audit logs that came up, it appear on alert. Or if you have admin access and they want you to approve something, that'll come up here in the alert line. So it's a quick interface for you to look at it really quick and go on about your day, right? And you can view all activity vid here. It'll open it up and go to the activities. And also, if you want to come to the screen and I was somewhere else and I didn't have that open, I would just go here, hit this. If I hit this envelope over here, it'll open up my Finder application or your folders application if you're utilizing Windows. If I hit this right here, it'll go ahead and go really quick and open up an actual my mail drive. So let me just walk you through, give you a quick orientation of this. I will be sharing a video. You'll watch a video for a little while during this class, but I just will give you an orientation of what we have with the PreVeil. Tells you PreVeil, who you are, what you have, right? You can toggle this on and off to bring that over. Your inbox, if you have specialized messages you want to keep, you can star them. You can add folders if you want to go ahead and partition your information, based on what client that you're talking to. You can keep what you sent, what message you sent, trash. That's going to be in the mail. All right. And then on the drive, so in the drive, you'll have different drives. I made a pathway student folder so I can share information with you. We'll have a template for like the evidence compilation, so you can have something to highlight, the evidence you've collected, put it in there, and put it in a folder. So I'll share this folder with you. Also, I have a folder for the PreVeil advisors, just some of your common interfaces up here on the folder. You can upload files to each one of those folders. You can create new folders. You can share folders. You can watch folders. This is for you to synchronize folders, and you can delete selected items in or out of, and you can move items from different folders. And this is download. If I had something and I was on a file, you'd be able to download that, right? And that's your drive. So because I'm an admin, this is what's going to look different from mine than yours. When you get yours, you're gonna have this tab over here for admin. So I won't go over the admin functionality or features, but just show you like a difference you have. So when you get yours and you start your account, you should have mail and drive. And then in your drive, it'll be empty, but you'll also have, you'll also have the actual folders that you're invited to. So let me make a quick folder for you, and we'll take that away, since we said this is a workshop. So you open this up, you want to create a new folder, hit create a new folder. You'll name the folder, all right? Once you name the folder, it'll add the folder to your actual directory. And also, if you go up here, it'll show what you just did. So the activity, the unique thing and the best thing about PreVeil is every activity that you do with your PreVeil enclave will be highlighted in the auditing log. And we all know that auditing is a part of, CMMC compliance. So this is a very important tool that's going to help you out. And then if you want to erase, you can delete the selected items, and you can delete entire folders. Also, you'll notice this orange bar here, open in Finder. So let me drag that over. It actually opened up my Finder folder. Can you guys see that? Sorry, I got so many. There it is. All right, so the Finder, it opened that. And that's that. So what you have over here on this side, in your console, you're going to have your profile information. So that's just going to give you your basic profile information, your name, what email you use. You can set up an email. You can set up an email signature with your company and save that. Some of the things I have, you won't have, again, like I said, the approvals, but activity logs. This is going to show you the same thing that was up there. You can add, if you have applications, you can add to your actual mail clients. Remember earlier we talked about how it would integrate and work with different applications. Can you remember the applications that I mentioned that it works with? Do you know the applications? Everybody just give me one application that you can integrate with the PreVeil platform. All right. And you'll see this in the actual video that I'm going to share with you later. But when you have a PreVeil, this is an Apple Mail representation. You'll see it'll be your inbox, and then it'll have a PreVeil inbox. It'll say that, but it'll have a lock right here, right? Because that means that this box is encrypted end to end, and you're only able to access it if you have your PreVeil account set up and integrated. So And then that's what that will look like. All right, and you can add them by using these buttons down here. And also, if you want to use other things like Outlook on Mac, etc., there's a hyperlink down here that'll give you instructions to do that as well. All right, remember I told you can have PreVeil on multiple devices. I only have this on my Mac, but you can have it on a tablet. You can have it on your mobile device. All right, so as you look at your actual PreVeil information, but you can have it on those devices. You can manage. You can be able to look and preview and look at your actual documentation and email on those devices. So that would be the device management tab. With this, you can rename. You can disconnect devices, so you can, as they say, manage your devices in here. But once I add a new device, it'll appear in here. And there's add device. This is what I talked about, making sure that you have your PreVeil recovery and backup information, or you're in a recovery group. That's going to be, the admins will set you up in a group, and you'll have to be approved by one or more admins. Once you hit that, it'll come to our actual approval queue. Will prove that you should be able to have that additional device. So that I'm pretty sure there's 3 different ways that you can do it. There's a backup key, and I can't remember the third one. Then we talked about the recovery groups, out recovery. So you can create a key. So you create a file, right? I recommend as soon as you get it, you create a file, you save this file, you know where this file is at. That is the quickest and easiest way to go ahead and recover your actual PreVeil account. Because remember, what did I say? It's encrypted, and PreVeil does not have access to your data. The keys are encrypted and stored where? Tell me where the PreVeil keys stored at. Are they stored? Okay. So is it an email, or is it in your local desktop, your device? Is it stored at the cloud provider as a PreVeil? Can I get it? Where's it stored at? If it's local desktop, everybody raise your hand real quick, or send up a clapping emoji. Hey, there it is. Just in time. All right. And we talked about that recovery approval. And hey, that's for me. I'm an admin. Hey, if I was asked to help you replace your private key, it'll come up and I'll click the recovery button over here. Is there something else on this? Nope. And this right here is your help center. So that's going to take you over to, and tell you, it's going to send you to their Confluence page, actually. And it's the knowledge base, and it tells you everything about PreVeil and how you want to use it. Admin consoles, setting up stuff, email gateway, how to connect to a scene so it can parse your logs and what release you're on. So it's pretty helpful. Okay, we talked about that. Getting started using the drive. This will tell you how to use the drive. But like I said, I'm going to give you the actual a link to some videos. And I would recommend, once you get on the PreVeil site, that you subscribe to their channel. They have some good information, and there are always some case studies on there and people that have received, their CMMC level 2 certification using PreVeil. So I think that's pretty important. All right, account recovery and recovery settings, and your profile over here. Add account, sign out account, things like that. What build you're using. So that's a quick walkthrough of PreVeil. And do you have any questions? No? Well, also, I'm going to put these 2 YouTube links in the actual chat. That way you can go back and watch just some of the basics on how to, it's not gonna let me do it, is it? I think I'm gonna have to, yeah, nope. I'll send them off later, but I'll put them in the chat before I close this out. But we got 10 minutes, but I just want to say the first one is going to be send an encrypted message, and the second one is going to be upload and share a CUI document. FCI as well too, right? It says CUI, but you can put the FCI document in there when you're sharing, you're talking to your clients or talking to your colleagues. But that's just, I think one is 5 minutes and one is 6. So we ask, that you watch those. I talked a little bit too much, but I think we got some good information out. And I think you guys are willing to watch a little bit of this on your own time. But I got a quiz. We got a quick quiz. So what I want you to do, I want you to put the answer to question 1. Everyone put the answer to question 1 and 2 inside of the chat real quick. And I'll give you 2 minutes and we'll talk about the right answer. Now, this is too easy for you guys. This is too easy. Doesn't even look like we need to discuss it. All right. So it's C, right? So the primary purpose of CMMC, right, to ensure that, hey, we're protecting that government data, defense contractors. We're out there, we're using systems that are not, federal government systems, so they don't fall under the purview of RMF or DIRECAP if you're an older person, so want to make sure that we're securing these non-federal systems, and the government is not playing about this at all. So number two, also number C, excuse me, letter C, a technical drawing, right? Not something for public release. It's a technical drawing, and CUI should have markings on it. If it's properly, remember they had the FO, if you were in the service before, they had the FOUO. They no longer have FOUO, but they have CUI cover sheets, and they have the marking on there and tells, who it belongs to, when it was classified as a CUI, what is the actual regulation that said it's CUI. So pretty important. And question number three, what is the key advantage using PreVeil Email and Drive for compliance? Answer these two, and then we'll have a couple minutes for to go ahead and close out. Is everyone finished? Does anyone need additional time to answer question four? If you need additional time, raise your hand, please. Okay, we'll go ahead. Looks like question three, everybody got that correct. That was C. So if you had the old bubbles, everybody put CCC, you would have got the first three right, because it's going to give you, granular access. You're going to get those logs, and it integrates with Outlook others as well, right? Question number four, kind of tricky. We talked about it being encrypted, but the most important thing, the files are encrypted end to end is most important. Remember two things about PreVeil's end-to-end encryption, and that encryption key is only stored on your device, So you have complete control of your data. PreVeil and the cloud engineers there or their admins can't get it for you. All right. Hey, so look, good class, everybody. I hope it wasn't boring. There was a lot of information. Armel, sorry about that. If you lose your device, that's when you're going to have to use the recovery procedures. So we said there are multiple ways to recover your actual account. Anybody know? Can anybody give me one of the two ways to recover? Unmute your mic real quick. Somebody give me one of the two ways you can recover your account. It was two ways we highlighted. One was, okay, so one was that recovery file. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say recovery file. Go ahead.
And what was the other one? Only admin can do it.
Generating a new recovery key for you?
Yeah, but how does he do it? It's called a recovery group, right? So you're in a recovery group, and the admin is going to get that request from you. And, because we believe in making sure shared responsibility, not one person can do one thing, right? Multiple people will approve it, and it will generate you a new recover your account so you can generate a new key on your local device. Very good. Man, it took me a little while to learn this stuff. I'm sure, as the PreVeil guys are going over with me, they were like, is this guy technical, or is he just asking questions? But you guys picked it up pretty quickly. Questions and answers. We got 3 minutes. I'm going to ask for 2 because I actually have a board meeting to jump on, but I am open the entire week for questions. What I will do for the questions and answers, I will send you out the PreVeil platform video playlist, and it goes through a lot of common uses and things you're going to utilize PreVeil for. So that, I humbly bow to you and say that is the first class. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. I like comments and feedback. So if there was something that maybe sometimes you start talking fast, you miss something, or you say a acronym wrong, or there was some information that you want to go over again, just reach out to me. My information is in the CPN group, and also it should be on the invite.